Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimmingbird, and welcome back for another Minecraft 1.7 Amplified Survival Story. This is the series where you guys suggest little story tidbits. I throw my sword on the ground on accident, and then I start telling these stories based off the most popular comment. And last time we heard the story of the wandering sugarcane, the cowboy, and how he basically created the mesa biomes. And this time we've got a new story. So the most popular one is by Title MC, and it is about a cow who has a pumpkin stuck on his head. I'll take a challenge. So I need to go find some sand, because I do need windows for my house. And as always, I really need iron, and I would like to find a pre-existing cave to start mining in, if I can. But we'll see. I don't want to stray too far from this beautiful roofed forest biome, and hopefully I can find some both of those things around here. So anyways, without further ado, let's get to the story. So this is a little story about Clarence. Now, Clarence was a typical bull. He had udders, like most bulls in Minecraftia, but he was typical for the most part. And he just lived in the pasture, and he was fairly normal. And, you know, he saw weird stuff, like zombies running away, doing weird things, finding their way up trees. But Clarence was just a normal guy, and he's like, I'm not dealing with zombies. I'm not going to mess with any of that. I'm just a normal bull, and that is a beautiful waterfall, he said as he encountered a waterfall that was in fact beautiful. So Clarence was just minding his own business, and one day, while grazing in the pasture, he found a new friend. It was a little pumpkin. The pumpkin had a snide grin on it. It was more like a jack-o'-lantern. But, you know, it wasn't lit up, so maybe it was just a pumpkin. And Clarence was like, this is weird. Usually pumpkins have patches. Why is this one all alone? And he approached the pumpkin, and the pumpkin said, hey, buddy, how's it going? And Clarence was like, okay, I know I'm a cow that can talk, but this is extra weird. What are you doing, buddy? And the pumpkin said, my name's Gordon. Put her there. Gotcha. I don't have any hands. I'm a pumpkin. Shake one of my roots, why don't you? And Clarence was like, all right, I guess. And he started chewing on the main root that comes out of the pumpkin, and that kind of pissed Gordon off. He was like, hey, stop that, man. And there's Gordon himself, sitting on the cliff all alone. So Gordon was a little mad. Just starting off, their relationship soured a little bit, and Gordon said, you know what? Things might look a little better if you put me on your head. You know? You should just put me on your head, because it'll be cool. And Clarence was like, I don't know, man. That sounds a little weird. I've heard some of my buddies were killed by pumpkin knights, and I don't want to become one. So, maybe I'm not going to do that. But Gordon said, it's okay, man. It's almost Halloween. Things are getting spooky all around, you know? Just do it. It'll be cool. And, ooh, there's some sand. And Clarence was like, I don't know what's going on. That's unrelated, but okay, I like sand. So Clarence said, alright, I'm a cow. I'm pretty stupid. I'll put you on my head. And he did so. And instantly he was like, whoa, I regret this. And things are not so great for Clarence after that. In a way, you know, but I'll get into that. So Gordon laughed maniacally and was like, so finally someone was stupid enough to fall for it. They put me on their head, and I am free from my pumpkin prism. Pumpkin prism is where they watch all the different people, secretly. So yeah, Gordon was like, all right, I'm running this ship now. So he took over Clarence's body, and Clarence was like, oh man, I knew I was gonna regret this. Why did I listen? And Gordon was like, don't worry, buddy, I'm not gonna do you no harm. We have like a symbiotic relationship. If you've ever seen the Amazing Spider-Man, this is kind of like Venom, Carnage kind of thing. So anyways, I'm gonna help you out, buddy. Have you ever been, you know, had a little trouble with the ladies? And Clarence was like, yeah, you're speaking my language now. You can help me with the ladies. And Clarence was not one with the ladies. He was a little, you know, he had two left back hooves, if you know what I mean. So yeah, he took Gordon up on this offer, and Gordon was like, alright, you let me control you occasionally, I'll help you out with the ladies. And Clarence is like, alright, I guess that's a good enough deal. I'm a cow, and I really like to procreate, so let's do it. So, literally. So Clarence and Gordon left, and they found the sweetest bovine babe. And they went up to him, and Gordon was like, let me do all the talking, buddy. So Gordon sweet-talked her, he schmoozed her, and the cow lady was like, oh my, Clarence, I never knew you were that type of bold. Come here, and they kissed and stuff, and I don't want to get too graphic, but it was sweet. And so Gordon was like, all right, man, you had your fun. And Clarence was like, man, you had my fun. You were kissing on her, and I was just kind of like looking through your pumpkin eyes. And also, why didn't she like question why I have a pumpkin on my head? She was just making out with it. She didn't really care. And Gordon's like, that's the power of being a smooth talker. And so they, you know, Clarence was like, all right, that's cool. I guess I'll, what do you want now? It's your turn, I guess. So Gordon was like, all right, listen to me here. I'm going to do something a little special. We're gonna go and I'm gonna be the ruler of the land. And Clarence was like, psh, keep talking, buddy. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we can try. So Clarence decided, okay, I'm gonna let Gordon run the show for a while, just because I want to see what happens here. And whoa, things were gonna get scary. So immediately, when they went to the kingdom, Gordon was like, all right, we can't just announce what's gonna happen, because a bunch of soldiers are gonna come attack us. It's gonna be scary. You've got to watch our backs, because the knights like to sneak up on you when they're all fighting you. So just be careful about that. And you know, just let me do the talking, just like with your lady friend there. So Clarence was like, all right, let's do it. So quickly Gordon encountered the Gate Knight of the kingdom and was like, all right, buddy, watch how it's done. He used his magical pumpkin magic, and he had a lot of powers, and he used a few of them to I thought I heard something. He used a few of his powers to transform Clarence right before the Gate Knight's eyes. The Gate Knight was like, what is this cow doing here? But then Clarence transformed into a handsome Manatar, and the Gate Knight was like, whoa, uh-oh. Guys, he got on the tin can and was like, we got a Manatar over here at the gate. Can somebody come in? I need backup. Manatar. You know, that typical protocol. But it was too late. Clarence and Gordon, I'm starting to forget all these guys' names. Gordon, they were the unstoppable Manatar Pumpkin Knight. And this was the beginning. If you've heard of the Pumpkin Knights, you know their story, and you have heard how dangerous they can be. So this was the beginning of the Pumpkin Knights, and it was a pretty crazy beginning. Clarence became known as Clarence the Bold. That wasn't really his favorite nickname, but they were like, all right, I guess we got to name him something here. And he was pretty bold as a cow to just jump in and attack our Gate Knights and try to take over the kingdom. And it wasn't long before Gordon recruited more to the Pumpkin Knights. Now, the Pumpkin Knights are an order of knights who are so brave and so reckless that they can wear pumpkins instead of helmets. They don't care that it messes up their vision. They don't care that it is a decreased armor value overall. They just, you know, they want to fight and they want to win. So the Pumpkin Knights, they're so reckless. They're like barbaric. They rush in. They get things done. And, you know, they get all their goals done really early on in the story, so they don't, you know, have to push it too long. So yeah, they conquer the kingdom. They get the iron. They make swords. They make armor. They keep their pumpkins though. They never compromise their pumpkins because that's their name. You know, they can't not have the pumpkins. So they do that, and pretty soon they become infamous in the kingdom of the Kingland. And the king is like, dude, what is going on with these Pumpkin Knights? I have knights, why aren't they stopping them? We're wearing full diamond armor. The Pumpkin Knights are just wearing iron and freaking gourds on their heads. Why aren't we winning? What is going on out there? And the king's royal chancellor, he came up to the king and he was like, okay, let me lay it out for you straight, king. 80% of the kingdom's budget goes to Hot Pockets for you because you are such a pig. Come on, get over it, buddy. And the king was like, okay, I'll take the fall on that one. That's my bad. And the chancellor's like, okay, and the other 20% goes to the military because we don't care about the peasants and stuff. We're just gonna, you know, put all of our The chancellor's like, this isn't social commentary. This is just how we run things in medieval times. So a lot of the shekels are put into the military. Most of them put into Hot Pockets, admittedly enough. And, whoa, the king got surrounded pretty quickly. His kingdom was surrounded by Pumpkin Knights. By that time, so many had joined the Order of the Pumpkin Knights. It wasn't even funny. It was like, come on, guys. It's not like, there's more Pumpkin Knights than normal people. Not everyone can be a knight. But the Pumpkin Knights are like, that's not how we roll. Anyone can be a knight. Put a pumpkin on your head. Grab a stick even. You don't need a sword. You can be a knight. And you can be a happy knight. And, things got crazy. Babies started becoming Pumpkin Knights, which was like, okay, come on, guys. This isn't funny anymore. So, something had to be done to stop the Pumpkin Knights, led by Gordon and Clarence the Bold. Gordon was increasingly bitter towards Clarence because everyone knew the leader of the Pumpkin Knights was Clarence the Bold. And no one talked about Gordon. Gordon was like, come on, I'm giving him the powers. I'm the real force behind the Pumpkin Knights. Why am I not getting recognition? And no one listened to him because they thought it was Clarence talking and that he was crazy. Uh-oh. Things are not going so great. But yeah, things were going better than they thought. That's a big contradiction. So yeah, things were not going great for the king, but things were going amazing for the Pumpkin Knights. And believe me, if you were a Pumpkin Knight at this time, that was a good time to be a Pumpkin Knight. It was the best time. It was called the Age, the Gordon, instead of the Golden Age, it was called the Gordon Age. So Gordon was like, okay, I can concede that, like, at least like, I know I'm not known as the leader of the Pumpkin Knights, but at least the Age, this whole age of history is known as, you know, me time, the Gordon Age. So things were going pretty good for both Clarence and Gordon, and Clarence didn't regret putting Gordon on his head anymore, and it wasn't, you know, he didn't begrudge him that. Although he felt like he was a little in over his horns or his head, you know, whichever pun or whatever you want to use. So he, you know, things were looking pretty good. Gordon and Clarence had taken over the Kingland Kingdom. They knew where their home was. It was in the castle. They felt safe there. And they said, you know, let's stop fighting. I think I'm done fighting. Let's just, like, let's go back. Let's regroup. Let's just enjoy this for a little while. And, you know, Gordon's like, man, I'm too power hungry. I can't do that. And Clarence said, all right, it's finally time. I'm taking you off. And Gordon, like, right at the last second, he was like, nope, your Manitar hands are gone. See ya. And Clarence turned back into a cow. And it wasn't just his hands. It was, like, all of him. And Gordon was like, haha, try to take me off now. But then Clarence, out of nowhere, he completely eats Gordon. He just chews him up. Num, 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 num. He, like, devours Gordon. And Gordon was like, whoa, I did not see that coming. So, because of that, we still celebrate the night of the Pumpkin Knights, the night that Gordon was eaten, by having a feast of gourds. And it's pretty tough to do that, but, you know, some people really enjoy gourds, and I'm not going to begrudge them that. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoy the story of why we eat pumpkins on the Pumpkin Night, in case you didn't know that why we eat them already. So, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to leave this ceremonial Gordon above my door, just to, you know, honor the Pumpkin Night. I hope you guys are enjoying October. I hope you're getting all your pumpkin-flavored lattes and, you know, all the going pumpkin crazy. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. I accomplished my goal for once. I got glass and I got iron here. I'm going to switch these out. And we're going to lay some windows. And I'm super happy. Look at this. We finally got... Maybe I should make panes with these. I think it's just like this, right? So yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching. There we go. 16 panes. Bam! My house is coming along nicely. So thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. I will see you next time. Leave a comment with your story suggestion, and maybe it'll become the next Minecraft survival story if enough people like it. Thanks for watching again. See you guys next time. Bam. Pumpkin in my head. Pumpkin Nights. Goodbye.